What if training wasn't just about fat loss? What if training actually gave you a purpose and direction to your life? After all, when you become a dad, you lose that sense of identity, you lose that sense of who you are. Your kid is born, your social life tanks, and you stop doing the things that you do for you for a good period of time. Of course, newborn life is pretty stressful, so you might eat more, you probably move around less, and weight piles on, and it leaves you feeling pretty rubbish about yourself. I know all too well, because I went through that myself, and most of my clients have been through that too. But this is where fitness and training can come in. Fitness is the vehicle you can use to regain that lost identity and also to become the kind of person that you're proud of. But to make it last, you need to understand what the purpose is and how that fits in beyond just training. Because when most people focus on fat loss or training, they're great for a week, maybe 2 weeks, but at some point they fall off the wagon and the biggest challenge they have is consistency. So to make it last, you need to understand what your purpose is beyond just fitness and training. I'm going to give you 4 different examples of what they might be, and each one might resonate with you. One might resonate with you more than the other. Before I do that though, you need to know about finite and infinite games and how this can change your mindset towards your fitness. So there are 2 types of games, infinite games and finite games. Most people treat fitness as a finite game, when in reality, it's an infinite game. So what's the difference? A finite game is like a game of football or soccer, if you're watching from the US. It's got a clear outcome, it's got a clear set of rules, and the team at the end who has the most goals is the winner. The outcome of the game is a win, a draw, or you'll lose. Therefore, with this, you can go hard for those 90 minutes. You can go all in, and it doesn't matter if you're absolutely spent by the end because the game's over. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna die.
And that's how most people approach their fitness. They go all in at the very start and they just burn themselves out and they can't keep going. And then they fall off the wagon and just have to start again in another 3 Mondays when they finally got the motivation to go again. Whereas a different type of game is infinite games. Now the goal of an infinite game is to keep playing the game. Examples of infinite games are business. The goal of business is to keep generating revenue, keep generating profits. Or politics. The goal of politics is just to stay in politics and to keep being a politician and, yeah, doing what politicians do. We won't touch on that here. And fitness is also an infinite game because the goal of fitness is to keep going. And that needs a different approach to a finite game where you go all in for that set period of time. Now the nuance of this, fitness is an infinite game. That's the mindset you want, but you can have finite gains within the infinite game. An example being, you might need to lose 10 kilos or you want to run a half marathon. So you can put these little finite games within that bigger game of playing the infinite game of health. So you've probably approached your fitness as a finite game, and that's why you get stuck, because you go all out and you don't need to go all out all of the time. So instead, think of fitness as an infinite game and a tool for you to regain that sense of who you are. But training becomes more interesting when it's tied to a bigger motivational pool, and that's going to be what the purpose to your training is. Here are 4 examples of different purposes that you might resonate with and you might be able to use and tailor to motivate yourself to go for longer than 2 weeks. Of course, I recommend listening to them all because one of them might carry more weight for you than another. For myself, for example, family is a huge one, but ego and being the best I can be for myself is also another one. And they're different. Number 1, family and legacy. A client messaged me saying, Chris, I never thought I'd enjoy the trampoline park with my kids that much. And this client had lost 15 kilos. Previously, when he'd take his kids to the trampoline park, he'd be exhausted. The thing that would excite him most about taking his kids there would be to sit on the table in the cafe with a rubbish instant coffee, watching his kids play so he could finally catch a break. Most of the time he'd just scroll Instagram too, so it wouldn't really be terribly exciting. But this time was different. He had more energy and he found he could actually be in the trampoline park with his kids, chasing them up and down, and they had the best time. And for him, that was one of the biggest reasons why he wanted to continue his fitness, because knowing that he could be the dad that he wants to be for his kids was enough for him. And then of course you've got the thread of being a role model for your kids. I don't know if you've ever noticed what your kids eat, but they will copy what you eat. If you eat more vegetables, if you eat more fruit, they're going to eat more fruit too. One of the tricks we have in our house, whenever we have a plate of vegetables in the middle of the table, Katie, my wife, and I will say, oh, all of that broccoli to me. Believe me, you've never seen little hands try and grab broccoli as quickly as my kids do when we say that. We also over-exaggerate it. We'll eat an apple and go, oh, it's so tasty. And then they'll want an apple too. Number 2, identity and self-respect. And personally, I think this is one of the most important ones. I've got this theory after working with hundreds of clients that the way you treat yourself will subconsciously signal whether you respect yourself or not. So when you start eating better, training regularly, Subconsciously, you feel better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, it's easier to do the things that you want to do that will make you feel good. One of the big things dads can lack when they have kids is their self-esteem goes through the floor. And if there's one way to build up your self-esteem, it's to do what you actually say that you'll do. So if you say you're going to train 2 times a week, 3 times a week, do it. And week on week, as that becomes consistent, your self-esteem will improve. And when your self-esteem improves, you feel better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, you're more likely to treat yourself with self-respect. And when you're more likely to do that, you're more likely to train and eat well. It's an upward cycle. Number 3, performance and mastery. One of our biggest innate human drives is curiosity, learning, personal growth, and developing yourself as an individual. And so many people lose that when they first have kids because they stop doing anything for themselves. An easy outlet people have is to do this through work, and they start working all of the time. And they say, it's so I can earn more money, so I can create a better financial base for my family, which I get and I understand. But in order to feel good about yourself, there needs to be more to you than just work. Again, this comes back to the identity piece. If all you do is work and you're a parent and you don't do anything else for yourself, you've only got 2 legs to this table of identity. And if one gets swiped away, let's say you become redundant, let's hope not, you're stuck because you've lost a huge sense of who you are. And that's where fitness can come in, because you can choose a game, a finite goal that might scare you a little bit. That might be a little bit like, I've always wanted to do that, but I've never thought I could do that. And start working towards it. Believe me, if you take this step by step and focus on what you need to do today, you can achieve so much more than you thought. I've got so many clients who have run half marathons, done ultra marathons, and when they first signed up, they could barely run because of back pain, or they couldn't fathom doing a park run. Whereas now they're doing these extraordinary events purely because of weeks and months and years of consistency. And if there's one thing for sure, they've grown as an individual too, and they've developed this other arm of their identity. Not to say it impresses their wife, they have more energy for their kids, and their mates are like, how the heck did you do that? And that's pretty good for their ego, if I'm honest. And number 4, longevity and future proofing. Have a look at where your parents are. They might be fit as a fiddle. They might be struggling to play with their grandkids. They might be the kind of grandparents who are always on the sofa. Whatever your parents are looking like now, if you follow the same path as them with the same habits, that's where you're going to end up too. If you don't change where you are now and you're not moving in the direction you want to be with your health and your fitness, it's only going to get worse. Time will compound whatever your habits are. If they're healthy habits, amazing. They're going to work for you. If they're unhealthy habits, you need to make a change if you want a different outcome. But that starts now. Think about what kind of grandparent you want to be if your kids have kids. What kind of life do you need to lead right now in order to be that person? After the age of 30, men lose 10% of their lean body mass every single decade, which means between now and when you're 60 years old, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. And if you want to pick your grandkids up and you're struggling to carry your kids now, that's going to be a tough ask and unlikely to happen. I say this because you can't hide from reality. And if you really want to make a change, now is the time to make it. There's never an easy time to change. It's like the Chinese proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And while it's probably better to find a purpose to your training a year ago, you can't do that. The second best time is now. So how can you find your own purpose? Honestly, go for a long walk and think about why you want to be fit. Who do you want to do it for? Why do you want to do it? What kind of life do you want to lead? And what's important to you? If you know what yours is, let me know what your purpose is in the comments below. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, all helps the channel. And if you want 4 weeks of free coaching, which is my email series, then click the link in the description below.